Here at Bristol Motor Speedway, Fast Friday is about to get a whole lot faster as the Sprint Cup Series is set to qualify. Will Kevin Harvick continue his tear on Fridays as he does on Saturdays and Sundays as well? And, you know, Keelan Harvick has had a very difficult day of work already down there in the pits. Welcome, everybody. Fox Sports 1 has your coverage of qualifying for NASCAR's top series here on a very busy day and a very busy weekend in Thunder Valley, Tennessee. Fortunately, first of all, the weather has held out very well for us. And let's go down and check in with Chris Neville.
Well, JR, Kurt Busch already has 2 poles this season. And Kurt, you're so good at this place. Most of your wins have come from starting within the top 10, but one of those wins all the way back in 27th. How important is it to qualify up front?
Well, nowadays it's extremely important with all the pit stops that we do and the pit box location. So if you get a nice pit box, one of those N4, that will help you get in and out and use the timing lines to full advantage. But it was funny, years ago when I won a bunch of the races in a row, we were like one of the only lone soldiers on that back straightaway because I didn't qualify good. So looking forward to today's run. Tony Gibson and the guys have again given me a great car, and we just have to find those little itty-bitty hundredths of a second here today.
Well, Kurt Busch looking for his 3rd pole of the season. Jamie?
All right, Jeff Gordon, a 5-time pole sitter here, a 5-time winner. So did you figure it out in practice? Did you get a good gauge on what you're going to need to do for the pole speed here?
I mean, I thought our 3M Chevrolet was pretty good. Some guys started picking up some good speed there at the end, including our teammates. So we got some good information. The real question is now after Xfinity practice and they moved that groove up there, where's the fast line? Because in our practice it was around the bottom or maybe a groove, a car width up from that. And now it's very possible that that top groove could be the fastest groove, but it's a little risky to go up there, especially in a qualifying run. So right now I don't have a car, so I might just be able to watch it a little bit and learn something. But ever since they ground the top here at Bristol, it's made qualifying extremely interesting because you just don't know which lane exactly is going to be the one to put the fast lap down. I think we can make a fast lap around the bottom here at the beginning and watch what happens, and then hopefully that gets us through to round 2, and we can start making those other decisions after that.
Well, you are a true professional broadcaster now. You just sold it and said it's going to be interesting. Stay tuned. Jeff Gordon will be in the booth, by the way, tomorrow night, guys.
Jamie, thank you very much. I'm John Roberts alongside of 3-time champion Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds. And guys, Jeff Gordon said it right. Qualifying at Bristol is always interesting, but this time around, it's going to be just a little bit more interesting as they're going to stage the cars on the backstretch, but they're going to leave a hole in the middle of that backstretch. So if you want to go out, you got your way to go.
But I think the biggest thing, you heard Kurt Busch talking about finding hundreds. When I look back at the practice sheet, Casey Kane was quickest. Tony Stewart was 35th. 0.3 of a second. A blink of an eye separating first to 35th. And the other thing I noticed, some names we normally don't see up near the front of the practice sheet, like Justin Allgaier up in the top 10, and Michael McDowell was up in there. Most of the practice ended up 11th, so some unusual names at the top of the practice sheet.
Yeah, and Darrell, 45 drivers for 43 positions. We have that knockout qualifying, and 2 drivers will be completely knocked out.
Yeah, they will. But I think the beautiful thing about this kind of qualifying session where we have 3 different sessions, get down to 24, get down to 12, what Jeff was saying, that'll work out fine. You go out there and you get yourself comfortably in the first 24, and then you can watch and see if there's any speed as you move up the racetrack. I think there will be. I think when the new comes off the tires, brand new tires, you can run that bottom, got a lot of grip, but as the tires wear, you get into the final session, you might want to sail that thing around the top and get a lot of momentum and get a fast lap that way. So, again, 3 sessions with a lot of options.
Now, by staging the cars on the backstretch, they got rid of a little bit of congestion on this racetrack, but we're still going to have a lot on the front stretch to watch. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody, to NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying on Fox Sports 1 from Thunder Valley, Tennessee. Things are about to get very busy here, and we're about to find out exactly why we call it Thunder Valley. There's Justin Allgaier putting on his tribute sticker to our good friend Steve Burns. This is the Food City 500 in support of Steve Burns and Stand Up to Cancer. That is the decal that will be on all race cars this Sunday. And don't forget, there's your hashtag, Burns Strong. Steve, thoughts and prayers are with you.
Absolutely.
So we are getting ready for the first session here in Sprint Cup Series qualifying. There are 3 different sessions, but the first one is 20 minutes long, and it includes all 45 cars trying to make the show. But for right now, let's go to Chris Neville.
Well, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. back at a racetrack where he finished second here in the spring. And Ricky, you said this is one of your favorite racetracks. When you think about pit lane and qualifying, how many good pit boxes are really out there?
There's 4 for sure. Obviously, everybody wants the first one down there. When you qualify first, you get to pick it. But our Zest Ford's been kind of all over the place. It's ran some fast laps. We've been a little loose in, a little tight off. So I think we were 23rd in practice. We qualified 23rd both races, I think, last year. So, we'll see. We want to get a better qualifying position than what we had last year or where we were in practice. Starting towards the front definitely never hurts here.
Thanks, Ricky.
And walking with Casey Kane, who's trying to find his car. It's like, dude, where's my car right now? I believe it's back in tech. But, Casey, you were fastest in the only practice we've had. What is the secret, do you think, to the fastest time today for the pole?
Well, I think it might change a little throughout these runs. I saw the Xfinity cars moved up a lot higher than what we could in practice, so it'll be interesting to have to watch everybody and kind of see where the line is. But in first practice, it was all about being on the bottom, getting off turn 2 and off turn 4. So if it's like that, maybe we'll be pretty good.
All right, question marks. See if it's going to be the same or a little different from practice, guys.
Kyle Larson, just one of 3 drivers right now who have made it all the way to the final round in the last 6 races. Kyle, just qualifying so well these last 6 races. What have you guys figured out?
I think we've just gotten our cars a little bit better for qualifying this season at Chip Ganassi Racing. It's been nice to be one of just a couple guys to make the final round. It's something to be proud of at our team. So hoping for a good qualifying effort here again today. We weren't bad in practice. We just needed to be a little bit better. So all the times are pretty close here too. So it gets pretty intense.
Kyle Larson looking to bounce back after Texas.
Chris, when we come back to Bristol, the Sprint Cup Series will roll on what should be a very interesting qualifying session. You don't want to miss it. We'll be back in just a moment. Sprint Cup Series qualifying here on Fox Sports 1 is about to get underway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has decided to watch the first few minutes of qualifying. But let's take a look at the qualifying format. This knockout qualifying has a lot of twists and turns to it. Round number 1, the fastest 24 will advance. Spots 25 through 43 are set. The fastest 12 advance from round number 2. And the fastest in round number 3 is the pole sitter after that fast 12. Now, guys, we've already seen some gamesmanship going on so far. As the NASCAR rules state, you're supposed to go to the staging area in order of your pit selection. That is, unless you don't want to go. Dale Jr. still up on the hauler. Joey Logano still in his pit stall. Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex Jr. have decided to be at the front of the line.
Yeah, well, you run a lap in 15 seconds. You got plenty of time to watch. I think that's what they're doing. They're just going to watch. Is the bottom going to be fast, which I think it will for the first go-round, and how treacherous is it if I get up high?
So here are your most patient teams, the guys who are still parked.
20 minutes is really a long time at Bristol.
Yeah.
I mean, the lap goes by so quick here.
So let's take a look at the weather really quickly. Today and tomorrow looks pretty good. Air temperature 74 degrees. Track is almost 100 degrees. And now the track is open for the first session.
20 minutes.
Now, the lines do not have to move. You can do exactly what Denny Hamlin in the 11, Jamie McMurray in the 1. They left the lane open between the 2 lines of cars. And if the ones at the front don't want to go, you can do exactly what they did.
I don't know what to... I mean, I'd go get my lap. I'd get out there, I'd run me about a 15 flat and come back in and watch a while.
First round is underway and a few cars are out on the racetrack. Just a few takers so far. 3. Jamie McMurray among them. Paul Menard as well.
Well, automatically, I see Denny Hamlin. He's going to try the high line. He feels like that's where the speed is, and he's running that thing right up in that loose stuff, right on the edge.
Well, Denny Hamlin has won the pole here in 2 of the last 3 races, so we can understand his confidence getting out there early.
Well, and Denny Hamlin did not have a lot of speed in practice. He barely got a practice qualifying run in. He was 22nd at a 15.16. His first lap was a 15.21. He slowed down to he picked up to a 15.27 on lap 2.
Menard here, though, he's at a 15.0, and that's a great lap. I think anything around the 15-second, low 15 right there, I think would be safe to advance.
Last 2 times we've raced here, we've had a track qualifying record. And the quickest one has been Kevin Harvick.
Brendan Gaughan, we have 45 drivers here, so we know 2 will not make the show. Brendan Gaughan did not qualify at Texas last week in that 62.
And Larry, the 27 car of Menard, he didn't run that high line like Denny Hamlin did. And I think Denny Hamlin's probably going to have to rethink his strategy and maybe want to go out and try to run the bottom here.
Yeah, I'd say a 15:27, that would be borderline of even making the top 24.
I don't believe it will. When you think back to our early practice, a 15:21 led practice Josh Wise did for a long, long time. And so I think that's somewhere, 15:18 to 21 is going to be the break.
Darrell, I see drivers like Danica Patrick in his 10. She's running right in the middle of the racetrack, essentially at both ends.
So as you look at the drivers that are out there, it's Ron Hornaday Jr. in the 30th. That's in the 30 car. That's the lowest in owner points right now. So he wants to get a good lap and quickly.
Yeah, Danica Patrick 15:18 on her first lap. They're actually running 3 laps. Now, she came right down to the bottom on the exit of turn 4 that time, but really the first lap was just kind of a get up to speed.
A little bit of a kind of a dime in the corner a little bit. It's what I see some of them do. Go in, let the car drift up in the center, but then try to chop the corner coming off. That seems to work pretty good for some guys.
Tell you what, Matt DiBenedetto in this 83 car right now, he's second quickest. His first lap was a 15:09.
That's a good lap.
That should move him on to round 2, I would think.
I would say it did. And, he was one of our early guys. He was up in the top 4 or 5 there for a long time in early practice.
Trevor Bayne has joined the fray, as has Martin Truex Jr. Now we got a spin. It's Greg Biffle in the 16.
And that's the...
Something's coming at you. Just hold her steady right there. Hold her still. One below you.
To me, that's the danger of running that high line. It's so loose up there. It's all a number of the Xfinity cars spin when they got up in that high line, and we just saw that with Greg.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick among the guys who spun in the Xfinity Series, but here we see Greg Biffle go around.
No, he was spinning out long before he got over here to turn 4. He started spinning out in turn 3.
But when he spun, Jeb Burton in the 26 was halfway down the back straightaway, and you'll see Jeb Burton coming into picture here, and I mean, it's all he could do to dodge Greg Biffle in that 16. Things happen here so quick, even with just a few cars at a time out there.
And even with the spotter hollering at you, these cars are going 130 miles an hour around here, through into the corner. You can't just stop it. It won't stop that quick.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has decided to get in the fray here as well. And we see we have 13 cars that so far have taken time, including Greg Biffle. He was the one who brought out the caution flag, and now we have a red condition where the clock is stopped.
See Landon Castle here in this 40 car right now. He's third quickest at a 15:13.
Now, Larry, the 16 spins. Will NASCAR allow him to, if his tires are flat spotted, can he change the tires, or is he done?
Yeah, if his tires are hurt, that seems like that is a judgment call. Sometimes you can't change tires until between rounds, but I think it's all up to NASCAR.
So as Dale Jr. gets ready to get in his car tomorrow, Major Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And we have royalty in the house here at Bristol. The King, Richard Petty, is looking on.
He's studying that computer right there. Says, you know what he's saying? He said, man, I'm glad we didn't have that back when I drove. That thing would worry me to death.
And you see, 3-time Bristol winner, the last time was 1975, so 40 years ago.
So as we take a look at that famous 43, Eric Almirola off to a great start when it comes to the points this season. And we are getting ready to roll once again in just a matter of seconds, and the track is open once again.
Yeah, Greg Biffle actually had completed 1 lap. It was just a get up to speed lap. He was on his first fast lap, if you might say, when he spun coming off 4.
Yeah, he ran a 15:87. Obviously, there's a lot more speed in that car than that, but question is, did he hurt the tires?
And I did get confirmation. Yeah, the rule says you can't change tires except between rounds, but it is a call that NASCAR can make.
So this round will be over in a little bit more than 16 minutes. Then we have a 7-minute break for the guys to go to work on their cars.
Yeah, and back to Biffle just real quickly. He slid a long way on those tires. He started spinning out over in turn 3, and he ended up all the way around here in turn 4. So I got to think he hurt those tires.
Boy, A.J. Allmendinger in this 47, absolutely. The good news is he's 4th quickest on his first lap at a 15:11, hands full on lap 2.
I talked to some of the drivers during our break from practice. Everybody says they're so loose entering the corners here this week.
The black flag is out for the number 95 car, and that was saying that he did not enter at the proper place for Michael McDowell, did not blend in properly to the racetrack.
Yeah, his laps will not count. He'll have to go again, but it's the same rules that we have on...
You just pulled up on the track too quick.
Yes, because if let's just say we have a green flag pit stop on Sunday and you're pitting on the back straightaway, you have to stay on the apron until the exit of turn 4 before you can blend up on the racetrack. The same rule applies now.
And remember, Michael McDowell was 11th quick in our practice, so that car has shown some speed. I don't think a lap or 2 on your tires is the end of the world this week.
And Brad Keselowski goes to the top of the list.
He becomes the first driver to run in the 14s, a 14.92, and he did that really on his first full quick lap, so he was one and done essentially.
Well, we see Kurt Busch here. He's running up on the back of the 7 car. That's going to maybe hinder his lap time here. Not what you would want to do in qualifying.
He began to climb the list, as Kevin Harvick is doing. He's up to 3rd.
Yeah, I think Kurt Busch just decided that's not going to work. All I'm doing is wasting tires and fuel here trying to get around this 7 car in a qualifying run.
Harvick looked pretty good.
So for an update on the 16 car, let's go to Chris Neville.
Well, JR, we can see the 16 crew putting new tires on the car. So the rule there is they would have to wait until the end of the first round to put new tires on unless NASCAR allows them to. Well, since Greg Biffle only did 1 lap out there, and obviously there's no way he would make it to the 2nd round, they're allowing him to put new tires on there. But you see the tires going on. The tires that can go on this car have to be scuffs.
And I'm glad NASCAR is doing that, though, because Greg never really even got to make a lap because all he did was somewhat that get up to speed lap.
So it would be futile if you change tires in between the first 2 sessions because he wouldn't make it.
But you heard what Chris said. NASCAR made him put scuffed tires on tires that's been run. They didn't let him put brand new sticker tires on.
And that's sort of one of the benefits of this kind of a qualifying procedure. If this was an old procedure and he spun out qualifying, he'd be done.
You are done.
We take a look at Justin Allgaier. Had a pretty good practice session earlier today.
Yeah, good lap for Justin Allgaier. 7th quickest at a 15:05. Matt Kenseth 2nd right now at a 14.928, right behind Keselowski's 14.926.
Jeff Gordon's 4th. I think these guys really are just trying to get into the next round. It's really something in around a 15 flat will move you to the next round.
So if you'll note the 24th position on your screen, we're going to switch the ticker around to see who is just barely in and who is barely out at this time.
Glad y'all told us because Larry and I have been known to get messed up with that little program.
Well, it could be confusing. And Bristol can be confusing because it happens in a hurry.
15 seconds. Run around here in 15 seconds. Do you have any idea how quick that is? I mean, it's just, you can't breathe. You hold your breath for a lap around this joint.
Saw Ryan Newman there. He's 11th at a 15.08. Right now, David Gilliland is 24th at a 15.274.
Denny Hamlin, J.J. Yaley also flirting with the bottom there. David Reagan goes to the top.
18. 14.92, P1.
Reagan to the top in the 18 car. Nice run.
Yeah, he had been quick in practice.
You know, Reagan has won a race here. He won here in the Xfinity Series.
And you just saw Clint Boyer. Yeah, in that 15 car, he got bad loose up off the corner, and right now he's 29th, only really got 1 lap in at a 15.37.
They just do not have a handle on this car. I mean, we've seen this week after week. At Martinsville, he couldn't even make a lap. Oh, my gosh. That's disaster.
Wicked loose.
I mean, when you turn into the corner and the thing just, the front end bites and the back end takes off.
This will give you an idea of just how scary it was.
Ooh. I mean, that's just so quick.
Keep going. You're right.
Yeah.
He lets down.
Yeah,
he lets down. Come on down.
You get in here and keep going.
A little bit more frustration for Clint Boyer so far. Joe Gibbs Racing, however, on the other hand, 1st, 3rd, and 8th. Denny Hamlin is 25th at this time.
And then we got to think back to Hamlin didn't get a lot of practice, and he didn't make any. He made one practice qualifying run. Yeah. So they got some work to do, man.
And now Dale Earnhardt Jr. has joined the fray.
This should be a good lap. But Junior was fast in practice. Right up there, second quick. Car smooth off the corner. Rolls it in. Got a nice line.
Now that was really just his somewhat get up to speed lap, even though he got a time on it. So this is the real first lap.
It's the real deal. Here he comes off turn 4, looking pretty smooth.
That's a good first lap, 15:04. I believe I'd shut it down.
You're good, shut her down.
There you go.
They agree with you, Larry.
Yeah. You run a 15:0 in this first round, you need to shut it down.
Amen.
And we are approaching the midway point, and we're riding along with Joey Logano. Most recent winner here at Bristol.
And what did he do?
P1.
In one lap, a 14:84. One lap, Joey Logano.
Going to get on down in those 70s before we get done. I don't think we'll get to a 6.0, which is a track record, but we're going to get close.
They got 6 drivers so far under the 15-second mark, and as we take a look at Trevor Bayne.
Yeah, this is his second time out in this 6 car. Right now, he's 28th quickest.
But listen, I watched him in his first run. He got behind the car, and he really couldn't even get a good lap.
And here comes Jimmy Johnson. This is his hot lap. Let's see how far up he goes.
And you can see he's tracking well inside the top 24.
Whoa. Wiggling.
Whoa, that thing is loose, man.
Yeah,
I mean, he's really. Oh, man, wow. It's almost like he got a tire down.
Just bring it up.
Yeah, they're going to have to hustle with that 48 car, so just 9 minutes to go.
My gosh, this thing is wrecking loose.
Yeah, until this happened, he was tracking well inside the top 24.
Now, watch this. Thing really steps out on him coming off turn 4 here. Big time loose.
And Darrell, he was running right around the bottom essentially with that 48 car.
If you want to see a sense of urgency, you're going to see it from Chad Knaus right now. 8 minutes, 40 seconds left.
Didn't look like he was panicking much, did he?
No. It's urgency, not panic, right? That's what you see.
I got that.
The 95, Michael McDowell, was penalized by NASCAR earlier for not blending in the right way. Greg Biffle went for a spin. He's got some new scuff tires on now.
Yeah, Michael McDowell ended up 20th with that run right there to 15:13 with 8 minutes to go. That's going to be very borderline.
Biffle's car is not much better. He just got into turn 3 and almost, he didn't lose it, but he got really loose.
A little more than 8 minutes left to go. Here comes Denny Hamlin. With some work to do as well, and Greg Biffle's back in the green.
No, he's no good. He can't get in the corner.
Yeah, he aborted by the time he got off turn 4.
Yeah, he can't even begin to approach a corner without getting sideways.
Denny Hamlin, not a lot to play with there, but he jumps up to 17th at a 15:10. So right now, McMurray in 24th at a 15:16.
As of right now, the 2 cars that would go home would be the 30 of Ron Hornaday and the 62 of Brendan Gaughan, and still not looking very good for Brendan.
Yeah, right now, Ron Hornaday in the 30 is 43rd. Brendan Gaughan is the slowest of the 45 drivers. Flirting with it there off turn 4. Moves up a little bit, but that's not going to do it either at a 15:48 with 7.5 minutes to go.
Joey Logano continues to have the fastest time so far. David Reagan, Brad Keselowski right behind him. Matt Kenseth right behind them as we go on board.
Let's see what the Clint Boyer in the 15 can do. No, you saw him loose, wiggling, getting in the turn there in turn 3. A little bit better here. Got off the corner pretty good. Car's still not right, though.
Yeah, 15:34, but he stays 38th with that 15 car.
Yeah, it's just
right there. He was green, but lost it coming off turn 4.
Oh, and when it looks like on TV that it's just like he almost lost it, that thing is about ready to go around.
Shows you how quickly it can happen. Let's take a look at when Clint Boyer is in the green.
All right, here he goes into 3, and this is where he's had trouble, and he has trouble again. And it's just, he just can't. Every time he tries to turn the wheel, the back end wants to hop out.
Just that quickly. You go from green to red.
Yeah.
And that's Bristol.
And just like we heard at Martinsville when they said it's not Clint's fault, we got to get the car better. Clint loves these short tracks. I mean, this is right in his wheelhouse right here.
Josh Wise in that 98 car, 35th.
A content Joey Logano on top of the hauler right now. And as we take a look at that 30 car, that again being driven by Ron Hornaday Jr. As of right now, one of the cars that would be going home, so they have some work to do, and quickly.
Yeah, he's got to pick up 3.5 tenths from what he ran earlier at that 15.51 because McMurray's still sitting there at a 15.16 in 24th.
A little bit more than 5 minutes left in this 20-minute session.
And as a driver, Ron's in a situation where, look, Ron, it's not the driver. You know, that's all the car you got. Don't do something as a driver that makes you look bad. Wreck a car that's not capable of going any faster than what it's going.
But really, Ron Hornaday, I don't even know if he's worried about the top 24. He just wants to get into the top 36. That would get him into this field.
Different agendas for different teams here. Michael Annett, green, then red, then green again. Now red again. So 5 minutes left to go now. Jamie McMurray, one of the drivers, looks like he's going to try to get out there and get some work done in the last 5 minutes of the session.
Well, I think what he'll do, JR, is he'll pull over to the staging lines and sit tight because right now he's 24th. He does not want to run again if he doesn't have to, but he wants to be ready to run.
The beautiful thing about this deal here, you can within, like, if there's a minute to go, you got plenty of time to get out on the track and get the green flag before the session ends.
Well, it looks like to me he's going to go ahead and make some laps here. I think they anticipate that there's some drivers that will beat him.
Take a look at the 9 of Sam Hornish Jr. in the red as well right now.
No, Sam up the hill, lost a lot of time in turn 1. Keep an eye on him in turn 3 because this car looks a little unstable.
Chris Buescher looks unstable as well.
Yeah, right now we only have 3 Ford drivers in the top 24. That's Logano and Keselowski first and third, and Michael McDowell's 21st. All the other Ford drivers are outside the top 24 right now.
So Jamie McMurray still in the 24th spot. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 25th spot. He is one out of making it around to the next qualifying round.
I think McMurray may, and the car looks good. Not sure about the time, but it looks good.
Yeah, he did not better his time. He was trying to better a 15.16. The first lap was a 15.20. That lap there was a 15.17. So he stays 24th now.
Well, you know, Jimmy Johnson's got to go back out. He still needs to go back out because he's over here in 28th spot. Everybody's got to figure he's going to run better than that.
And the clock is running.
Yeah, I see Stenhouse headed back out and Almirola. Sam Hornish, he's pretty much doing a practice session here. He's run 10 laps in that 9 car. He and Michael Annett both.
Trying to figure out what's wrong with it.
Jamie McMurray has pulled back in. Eric Almirola back out.
Yeah, right now, Eric is 30th at a 15.25. Needs to pick up a 10th, and he can get in the top 24.
The cars, I don't think I've seen cars so unstable looking as I have this week here. They all go into the corner, and they all got a little bit, like they're a little loose, and they wiggle a little bit through the corner, kind of across the board. There's only a few. The really fast guys aren't, but a lot of these cars look very uncomfortable.
Almirola's looking pretty decent here. Let's see. No, the 15.38. They lose it off the exit of turn 4 is where they really lose it.
We're approaching the 2-minute mark, the 2-minute warning.
We're getting down there.
And Darrell, you see right there, they've added that safer barrier to the exit of turn 4. That's probably not helping the cause either, I wouldn't think. You have less racetrack to work with.
Yeah, you can't let the car drift out quite as far. You have to turn it down, keep a little tighter radius up off that corner exit, and I felt like it was going to affect the way you run this racetrack. When you move that safer barrier on the straightaway, that's about right at 3 feet.
Here comes the 48. Let's see what happens. See if they can they fix that loose condition he had.
Well, they'll work on it, and I guarantee it'll be better than it was.
Keeps flirting with the green right now he's in the green. Let's see what happens though. Exit of turn 4.
She is free, I know that. He's hanging on to it, but it's free.
Minute and a half left.
He did not do it 15:28 with that lap.
No, Larry, his car is just a little bit hung out in 3 and 4.
And I'm not so sure that he's not going to get held up here on the exit of turn 4. It's going to be awfully borderline with Ron Hornaday.
No, he just was so, that car is so bad loose. I mean, he's sideways off the corner.
It's Crew Chief Chad Knaus looking on. Little shake of the head and a climb down the ladder.
Just not, I mean, pit selection here is so critical. And if you don't qualify well here and you got to take an also-ran pit over there on the back straightaway somewhere, that kills your chances for winning.
But here's the good news for the number 48 team. The last time he missed the top 24 in qualifying was Atlanta, and he went on to win the race. But now we have Brendan Gaughan trying to make his way into the show.
Well, yeah, we just saw Ron Hornaday in the black number 30, Brendan Gaughan the 62. They're just fighting to try to stay here on Sunday to run this race. But yeah, when you qualify back as far as Jimmy Johnson has qualified, your strategy has to change immediately before the green flag even drops.
Yeah, you got to get yourself to the front somewhere, and then you're still going to have to fight a bad pit selection all night long.
10 seconds left to go here. 11, 10. Brendan Gaughan still fighting. That 24 and 25 right now. Jamie McMurray looks like he has it on Ricky Stenhouse. He will make it in. Brendan Gaughan will not. So time has expired on Cup qualifying round number 1 here.
Yeah, Michael Annett in the 46, Sam Hornish Jr. in the 9. These laps do not count. They did not make it back to the flag stand before the red and the black flag wave.
I mean, that 9-car Hornish all the way over in 39th spot.
At the end of session number 1, Joey Logano is the fastest, and Jamie McMurray is the last one to make it into round number 2, which we will have for you when we come back.
Front row, Joey.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sprint Cup Series qualifying. The big story out of session number 1 is Jimmy Johnson left scratching his head. The 6-time champion is not going to be in the second round of qualifying here at Bristol.
So didn't I just win the race last week?
I think so. I think that's, now these positions are set, guys. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 25th spot, Danica Patrick, Casey Mears, and Jimmy Johnson qualified 28. As you go back in the field, it's Jeb Burton, Josh Wise, and Michael Annett. Sam Hornish is in the 39th spot. Now, Alex Kennedy, although he's 45th, he has the points over Brendan Gaughan and Ron Hornaday Jr. Those two have failed to qualify. They will not race, but Jamie is with Jimmy.
Well, Jimmy Johnson did a nice job of saving it. It was that loose. What all did you have going on there with that car?
It's just been a struggle. I mean, in practice, we were on one side of it, and qualifying, we're on a different side. So, frustrating Friday. Bristol can be that for us. We always race a lot better, so we'll settle in the race and I think come out with a good finish. But, I love this racetrack. I just wish that I could show up and walk in the gates and take it to it like I do a lot of my other tracks that I'm strong at. So, still a lot to learn. Even after coming here for 16 years, there's still a lot to learn from me here at Bristol.
Well, everybody talks about having to start up front here. Now that you're starting back in 28, how does that change your whole strategy?
If you can stay on the lead lap and deal with the attrition, you'll be in decent shape. We won't have any favors on pit road. In some ways, it's nice that we qualified so bad that we might find an opportunity on pit road to pick somewhere and work some slower traffic that way. But we're in a big hole. There's no way around it. But this is a long race. You can still salvage a nice finish here out of being smart and running a strong race, and that's what we're going to have to do.
Thanks, Jimmy. Let's go over to Chris.
And Greg Biffle will be starting the race 33rd. And Greg, we saw that spin on that opening lap. Then you had to qualify and scuff tires. How big of a handicap was that?
Yeah, it was a pretty big handicap. The track just changed quite a bit. Well, we made a change to our Ortho Ford Fusion. It seems like we go through these practices and we sit back and give us time to work on it, look at it in the truck, and we make adjustments to it. And I think we went the wrong way, but it was really, really loose. I could not get any grip. I saw the 48 cars struggling with the same thing right in front of me, and we were struggling with the same thing. Just no rear grip driving into 3. 1 and 2 wasn't bad. 3 and 4, just no rear grip, and it's all the faster I could get it to go.
Thanks, Greg.
Chris, thank you. When we come back, 24 drivers get a 10-minute session, and Brendan Gaughan will not be among those he fails to qualify for the Cup race. Welcome back, everybody, to the Bristol Motor Speedway, and the first round of NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying is over. Joey Logano in the 22 was the fastest of the fast 24. Now we have round number 2, and that will be a 10-minute session after this 7-minute break. Now we have two sides of the story when it comes to tire wear. Joey Logano only has 2 laps on his tires, whereas Denny Hamlin and Jamie McMurray have 7 and 8 laps apiece. The track is now open. Do we have any takers?
Well, obviously now we're talking about a 10-minute session.
It'll go by fast.
It'll go by quick. It'll be close to 9 minutes by the time they get around there and halfway get organized.
But I don't think there's any reason to wait. I mean, go over there, get in line, and go, and get your lap in.
So the fastest 12 out of these 24 will advance for a shot at the pole position. Martin Truex Jr., he was the first in line in the first session, but he stopped there. Now he's taking it out on the racetrack.
Yeah, just roll on out there and get your lap while the track's clear. That's what I'd be wanting to do.
You know, JR, you mentioned the tire situation, and Michael McDowell and Matt DiBenedetto, they have 4 laps on their tires. Everyone else has 2 or 3. I think there's a huge difference between 2 laps and 8 laps like McMurray that he has on his.
And DiBenedetto is already guaranteed his best starting position of his career before we even started round number 2.
Yeah, that top 24 there from that session had a lot of new names in it.
Now, this is not strange whatsoever to see Martin Truex Jr. out front so far this season. Top 10s in every race so far.
Yeah, Martin Truex Jr. ran a 15-16, but Brad Keselowski went to a 15 flat.
I think if you can get somewhere in the high 1490, maybe 87, somewhere along in there, that's going to be pretty sporty.
Paul Menard, A.J. Allmendinger, and Casey Kane are also among the drivers out on the track right now. Casey Kane's one of those former winners at this racetrack who's very hungry to jumpstart that season with the win this weekend.
Casey was the quickest in our practice we had earlier.
And Casey was one of those drivers under 15 seconds in lap time in the first session.
He was flirting with Brad Keselowski's time right now at a 15:17, 15:04.
So now we have a new group of race cars on the track. Tony Stewart among them, another former winner at this track. Matt Kenseth is out there, as is Allgaier, Justin Allgaier.
We've had a couple of drivers that ran quicker so far in this session than they did first round.
Yeah, there goes Kenseth.
Good, that's good.
Actually, Brad Keselowski, that 1492, that's what he ran the first session. So he backed that lap up in the second session with an identical lap. That's an improvement, though, for Matt Kenseth.
So when you get your fast lap out of the way, Larry, the idea is to get back in there and save your tires?
Well, yeah, and again, to Darrell's point, I think if you run in the 14s, maybe even the low O's, like a 15 flat, 01, 02, that probably will keep you in the top dozen with the number of laps that are on these tires.
Here comes Landon Castle.
I'd take me a 15 flat right now and be pretty comfortable that I'm going to move on. But I do think there's some 1487s to 90s, and you've already seen Kenseth right there at a 95. So I think the quick time will be about an 87 in this round.
See, David Reagan is in the green, went to red, late exit of turn 4, though. Right now he's going to be 6th quickest. Actually got kicked back to 7th before I could even get it out of my mouth by Austin Dillon.
Here comes Austin Dillon, the famous 3. Once again, the top 12 will advance to the third session. It's only a 5-minute session, but that's where we will find our pole sitter.
The car looked good. He can run that bottom and make pretty decent speed around the inside, down the bottom down there, better than most I've seen.
Under 6 minutes.
See what Dale Jr.'s got laid up.
Right now we've only had 13 of the 24 drivers complete a couple of qualifying laps in this round 2 as we're closing in on 5 minutes.
So we got some heavy hitters out on the racetrack right now. Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick.
And you see the guys are still trying to run that bottom groove. I think second time out on these tires, I I think you should maybe try to run a little bit higher.
Harvick's in the green. Still picking it up. Second fastest so far for Harvick.
Now, he picked up about a half a tenth from what he ran in the first session. Ran a 15:01, and that lap there was a 14:97 on Kevin Harvick.
And that's a really good job by the crew. That's when they know exactly, they make a couple of tweaks in the tire pressure and tune the car just a little bit when you're able to pick up on the second round with these tires. That's a good job by the crew.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. just moved up a couple spots into the 9th spot, and you saw him driving off the racetrack. But as of right now, in the 16th position is Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, that's not a very good lap. I'm not sure what happened with those guys.
No, he lost 2.5 tenths from what he ran in that first session.
And here comes Kurt Busch, 5-time winner at this track.
I'd say he'd be somebody you had to deal with this weekend.
And here's Jamie McMurray, has the most laps of anybody on their tires, and we talked about Denny Hamlin, 7 laps on his.
Something interesting about the first round, Larry. Denny Hamlin was the only driver who raced his way into the top group in the second run, on his second run. Usually people lost.
Yeah. Kurt Busch just shot up to 3rd in that 41 car. Good job by him. McMurray
jumps in.
Yeah, he's into 9th. See what Hamlin's got coming off turn 4. A little better, up to 8th. Denny Hamlin up to 8th with a 15:05.
So now we will switch the ticker to the reference to the 12th position to see who is going to make it to the next round and who has some work to do.
Well, we still got almost 3.5 minutes here, so plenty of time to come in, make a couple of quick changes, a couple of quick adjustments, get back out.
Moffitt, Newman, and Logano are out on the racetrack. As of right now, the 12th position belongs to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Justin Allgaier, Martin Truex are the first drivers on the wrong side of the yellow line.
This guy right here, though, I say he'll have a say-so about who's going to start on the pole, because based on that first go-around, this car is fast, and time again, we've seen the 22 and the 2 dominate the front row.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 15:09. You can see Joey Logano well inside the green.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And top of the heap.
Just that car is so smooth. I mean, Joey does an incredible job as a driver. The car does exactly what he wants it to. That thing was on that yellow line or down on that black line coming all the way 2, 3, and 4 and never wiggled a bit.
And he ran a 14:93. That's about a tenth off from what he ran in the first session at 14:84.
As Kyle Larson gets up to speed, he's showing in the red, but that should change.
Michael McDowell, who made several runs in that first round, he's the only driver that's not been on the racetrack yet with that 95 car.
Pretty good lap by the 42. Didn't get into the top 12, though.
Kyle Larson's moving up, but still finds himself outside of the top 12 in the 14th spot. There's the 95.
A little better lap, but he didn't move up.
We're down to almost 2 minutes right now. David Reagan in the 18 car is 12th, and the time you have to beat that he has laid down is a 15:08.3. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's outside right now in 13th.
Junior wants the gloves. That means he must be ready to go.
Nothing to lose to run again if you're outside the top 12.
Doesn't have much time to do it, though. Let's hear from Jeff Gordon about his first run.
Terrible loose getting in and terrible tight through the center. Like I got 20-lap tires. Yeah, just the back end came around on me getting into one. It just immediately got in the bank and it just went into a huge push.
So that's a 5-time winner and a 5-time pole sitter here at Bristol.
There's such a huge change in the gear ratio. I think that's one thing that's making these cars loose in. They're entering the corner with no help from the gear to slow them down, and I think they're driving in the corner like they need to. The car's getting loose, and then they don't have the power to pull up off the corner that they're accustomed to here. So a huge change in the gear from what we ran here in the past to this year. Too big, in my opinion.
And Darrell, as of right now, Casey Kane in the 5 car is the only Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet that is in the position to transfer as Matt DiBenedetto goes way up the hill. Here comes Dale Jr. with less than a minute left.
Yeah, we're down to 45 seconds.
Joey Logano holds on to the top spot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. just outside the top 12.
Yeah, and even David Reagan is 12th right now in that 18 car. He just went back out on the racetrack to go ahead and try to put some insurance down in case he needs it.
30 seconds left to go. There's David Reagan. And a little insurance for him would be very nice as he continues to do a great job in the filling role for Kyle Busch, a guy who's had a tremendous amount of success.
Yeah, Tony Stewart tried to put down another lap, and he didn't improve any. He's still 21st.
For Dale Earnhardt Jr., that first lap was a 15-18. That's not good enough.
And the session is over. Joey Logano is the fastest. Kenseth, Harvick, Kurt Busch, and Brad Keselowski. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the first car to not advance. Kyle Larson, Justin Allgaier, Martin Truex Jr. among the drivers that will not make it onto that final 5-minute session.
And we're down to the dirty dozen.
Once again, Joey Logano is fastest. That could be a sign of things to come. We're going to take a quick break. Be much more for you here from Bristol. Welcome back, everybody, to Sprint Cup Series qualifying from Bristol. Now we know who is set where. We still have the top 12 to be determined, but the top 13 is led by Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kyle Larson, Justin Allgaier, and Martin Truex Jr. For more on who has what when it comes to tires, it's time now for Traction Talk, sponsored by TireRack.com and Chris Neville.
Well, Johnny, talking to some crew chiefs after that first practice session, they said that tire wear looked good, but in qualifying, they said it's going to be key to try and get those fast laps before you do 7 to 8 timed laps. Well, already in this last 12, we've got 3 drivers who have gone over those 8 laps. So Jamie McMurray, Denny Hamlin, and David Reagan already above that number.
Chris, thank you very much. Let's take a look at the top 12 and what the laps are on their tires. We see once again Joey Logano is in very good shape with just 4 laps on his tires. Same situation for Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, it's not surprising. The 2 quickest, they have the least amount of laps on their tires.
But these guys, this top 12 right here, I watch the cars going into turn 3 because first of all, we got a great view of turn 3. These are the best cars I saw all day long getting into 3 that didn't look like they were about to wreck or spin out. They were able to get in there with a lot of speed and get the car to the bottom and exit turn 4 pretty nice. So the guys that were in trouble were so loose they couldn't go anywhere, and of course we saw several of them almost lose it, so especially the 48 car.
Heck of a drive so far today for Matt DiBenedetto, and he's with Jamie Little.
Matt DiBenedetto, great run today. Made your 6th race now of the season. 22nd. How'd you figure this place out so quickly?
You know, this has always been one of those places I just love coming to. I won here actually when I was 16 years old, so that'll kind of make it an instant favorite right there. So, but you know, I can't thank my team enough, everybody at BK Racing, for this opportunity. I'm just so grateful to be in a car, you know, this year and racing in the Sprint Cup Series. It's an honor. I'm just glad to be here, and thank you to Dustless Blasting for being on the car this weekend. Everybody go check them out, and it was a good run for us. That was, you know, for us to make it in the 2nd round, and with the things we're battling and everything, I'm really proud of my guys.
And they're proud of Matt as well. His best previous start was 35th in Phoenix. We got the final round coming your way. It'll be 5 minutes for 12 drivers to see who sits up there on the pole. We'll be back. So just how important is it to start up front at Bristol Motor Speedway? Well, the last 8 winners have started 12th or better. Jamie Little is with Dale Jr.
And he qualified 13th. So I heard your crew chief say something about he knew what went wrong. Do you?
Well, I mean, our car had been real loose all day long, so I was pretty happy with the result because I didn't expect it to run very well after the first run, after the first session. We just got looser and looser every cycle. But Greg told me he's got some great ideas on how to fix the car, so I'm dying to get in there and hear what they are.
All right, he's going to run in and debrief right now, but he will start 13th on Sunday.
And, Jamie, that is not a bad starting position. We've seen guys come from there before. We've seen guys come back from farther, but we still have the matter of deciding who is going to start in the first position here.
I tell you what I love. Dale Jr. is, I've never seen him so animated and pumped up and being the cheerleader for the team. I mean, you just heard him. Well, we're 13th, but I can't wait to get in. We got to make some great changes. Looking forward to what we got to do tomorrow.
The clock is on. The track is open right now, and Chris Neville is with Jeff Gordon. Chris?
Well, Jeff Gordon going to start the race 23rd on Sunday. And, Jeff, you've won here so many times. Do you have to change your strategy up because of that starting position?
Yeah, that's going to be challenging. I mean, we're known for qualifying really well here, and you know, this year we're really struggling with this package being consistent. The first lap was not bad, and the second lap I just couldn't keep the back end underneath me getting in the corner. So 23rd is not good. You know, that is not at all where we want to start, but it's a long race. We've got a great team, and you know, between pit road, pit strategy, and adjustments, and me searching around the racetrack, I feel like, you know, we'll be able to get up front. But first, we got to get the car dialed in the way, you know, that we need it to run, you know, multiple grooves on this racetrack. I'm pretty sure that top groove is going to come in at some point, and we'll have to, you know, be ready for it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, JR, he's right. 44 starts here. 33 times he started in the top 10.
Yeah, I don't think I remember him qualifying this bad in quite some time.
One of the fastest cars all day long has been that 20 of Matt Kenseth, currently first on the chart, but one of the few early takers, as teammate Carl Edwards is right behind him.
Now, in round 1 and 2, Matt ran laps in the 1490s, and there's a 14.917 there.
That's a nice lap, and I love the way that car was right on the bottom of the racetrack. Looked good, man. Looked really good.
And that's actually his fastest lap of the qualifying round.
And just watch how fast this session goes by. We are already 3 minutes, 30 seconds left to go.
That's a big change for that 20 car. Two teams have flipped. Last week, the 20 was out of control, spun out. This week, the 48's reversed roles with the 20 car.
2 cars on the track so far. It's Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards.
That's a good lap by Carl. Lap before this, 14.95.
Well, Larry, we were wondering, you know, these Gibbs cars ran really good at Martinsville, and that's a short track. I know it's totally different in Bristol, but we wondered if coming to Bristol, if it was their short track package, would be as good as it was at Martinsville. It looks pretty darn good.
And here comes Paul Menard, the number 27 Chevrolet.
Well, and this round 3 is already essentially close to halfway over, just about 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
So we have some cars staged down there. They look like they're ready to.
They got to make you come back in. You got it. You messed the
black flag out for the number 3.
Coming onto the racetrack. Just shut it down.
Now, where that's a challenge, if the driver that did it in the round 1 had enough time he could get back to pit road and get the car cooled down. You don't have that kind of time now.
That driver was Michael McDowell. This driver is Austin Dillon.
Yeah, he's got about 2 minutes. I don't think I'd be backing in my pit stall. I think I'd be going right on around the other side and going back out.
On board with Kevin Harvick.
Kevin sat on the pole the last time we were here back for the August race.
I tell you, that time that Kenseth put up that 14.91 in the 3rd round here, that's a strong time. Let's see if Harvick can improve. He does, but he's only up to 4th or 3rd.
Brad Keselowski, a 2-time winner at this racetrack. And Darrell, you said just a moment ago, these drivers that are out here right now, the fast ones, are the only cars that you saw that really weren't loose, that were really stable.
I didn't hear many of these drivers in the interviews we've done and all talk about their cars being loose.
Boy, Keselowski, he keeps flirting with it. It keeps going back and forth, red and green on him.
As of right now, Matt Kenseth is on top of the scoring pylon. 1 minute and 23 seconds left to go. Make that 20. It goes by fast.
Keselowski up 2 seconds, and here comes, well, we're with McMurray now, but the 22 just got out on the racetrack. Here we go with him, and that's the cat that should put down the fast lap based on what he's done the other 2 sessions.
Let's see what happens as he gets up to speed. Denny Hamlin picked up a couple of spots in the 11.
Wobbled a little bit. He drove that thing into turn 3 really hard. Wobbled a little bit. Didn't get the good lap like he has.
Less than 1 minute.
Now 15.07 on lap 1 for Joey Logano. You can see all still in the red.
Yeah, he's doing what everybody else has been doing, getting into 3, just wobbling a little bit.
Got time for about 2 more circuits around this racetrack, Darrell.
Yes, sir. 15 seconds goes by in a hurry.
Here comes David Reagan in the 18. Casey Kane in the 5. Kane moves up to the 7th spot. So far, it seems like no one's challenging Kenseth. No. Joey Logano's trying.
This guy could. This 5 car's been pretty good. Not sure what he's got for old Kenseth, though. That's a fast lap, that 14.91.
Yeah, Casey Kane, right now, he's 7th at a 15.12. So he's actually 2/10 off Matt Kenseth.
Less than 10 seconds. Can Matt Kenseth start to breathe easy?
Yeah, the 41 car's on the lap. Let's see where he ends up.
2, 1. And Matt Kenseth will be your first car to start on Sunday.
How about that? How about that, Matt Kenseth? Congratulations, boys. Nice turnaround from last week.
Absolutely. A lot of congratulations from crew chief, teammates as well. Got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll tell you who will start where when the green flag waves on Sunday afternoon. Back here in Bristol, we see a disappointed Joey Logano as he had the car to beat, it looked like, in the first 2 sessions. He was the fastest driver, but he did not make it in the final session. Your front row will consist of Joey's teammate, Brad Keselowski, first front row start this season. But for Matt Kenseth, it's his first pole this season, second at Bristol. And Jamie, last time he had the pole, he won this race.
And that was back in 2005. Matt, what a relief is it to get the pole here. There's not many good pit stall selections, and you guys get the first pick.
Yeah, I'm proud of my Dollar General guys. We weren't particularly great in race trim. In qualifying trim, we had some pretty good speed. Jason and Levi and Mikey made really great adjustments every break. They had the car the very best for the last lap, and were able to put it together. So I'm glad we're starting from the pole. We got some work to do tomorrow to get it ready for Sunday. But like you said, there's not a lot of great pit stalls here, and it's a good place to be in front, is here, and hopefully stay up there and out of the trouble.
All right, Matt Kenseth on the pole for the first time this year, Chris.
Well, Brad Keselowski started second here last spring, get a second here today. But, Brad, you got out of the car and you were kind of shaking your head. You didn't look happy with that.
Well, that's because second sucks. You know, we're here to win, and we got a really good Miller Lite Ford, and I didn't really hit the perfect lap, so I'm kind of a little mad at myself. But, you know, we can certainly have a good spot to race from there, and a good pit stall, which will be important for the race come Sunday.
Brad Keselowski starting in his best spot of the year.
Chris, thank you very much. It's either a real good thing or a real bad thing for Brad. He's got 500 laps in front of him to see if he can make it from the second to the first position. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. I think you could put this in the category of priceless. How about that? A selfie with Carl Edwards.
Question real quick.
Yes,
What's
sir.
the top 8 all have in common? The top 8
all have in
qualifiers.
common.
What?
Let's see.
Come on, Larry, help me out.
Larry, what do you see? I'm looking.
Yeah.
They're not from the same...
They're all former Bristol winners.
Winners, okay. Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, yes, they are. Carl
What about
Edwards
that?
won this race last year.
When I look right over here, it looks like to me, Joe Gibbs Racing, they picked up right where they left off at the last short track at Martinsville
Yes,
with
sir.
3
They brought
finishes
their
in the
Martinsville
top 5.
cars to Bristol.
Another solid run for Paul Menard. David Reagan continues to do a great job of the number 18. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Larson on row number 7. Landon Castle, great qualifying for him. Ryan Newman, Michael McDowell, A.J. Allmendinger in row number 10.
Yeah, some great names. Kessel and McDowell, that's great. DiBenedetto, he's right there in 22nd. Great
Ricky
job.
Stenhouse and Danica Patrick in row number 13. Ended up
Moffitt.
together again.
I got to say it. How do they qualify right beside each other every single week?
I
They
think
are
they
row
talk.
You know what?
13 together.
It's for Michael's grid walk. He can get, he can go right there.
Greg Biffle struggled a little bit through this qualifying session. Row number 17. Sam Hornish back in row number 20 with Alex Bowman, Mike Bliss, Cole Whitt, and Alex Kennedy. Let's go to Chris Neville.
Well, Joey Logano starting up front pretty much all year long. Joey, you're going to roll off 6th on Sunday. What's that going to mean?
That's nice. I mean, the outside's going to be good. It's frustrating when you win the first 2 rounds and then you don't really make it happen on the third one. It's frustrating. You feel like you got the pole sitting Auto Trader Fusion here, but just got too loose for the last round, and half the battle is just not trying to, you're trying not to wreck, and then you're also trying to go fast, and just felt like I lost a lot down at 3 and 4, just trying to keep the back from spinning around, and it's still not that bad. I'm mad at 6, so that's at least a good problem to have.
A little frustrated, but still smiling.
Well, Carl Edwards picks up where he left off a week ago, getting his first top 10, and now your best qualifying effort of the year, 3rd. Carl, you're pretty pumped up. How good do you think the car is going to be?
I think it's going to be really good. So I was trying to get Stanley in there. I missed my interview with you last week. You had me chasing me around after the race, but we got Comcast Business on board. They've stepped up in a huge way. It's just cool. All the JGR Toyotas are in the top 11. I was telling Jimmy Makar, my car wasn't balanced, it wasn't even balanced perfectly, and we still ran really well. So we got a very fast car. It's going to be a fun race. Pit selection is going to be great. My pit crew's fast, so everything goes like I think it is, like it's going to. We should be leading after the first caution. That'll be great.
It's a happy Carl Edwards is going to go get him on Sunday.
He should be very happy, but the happiest guy right now after qualifying has to be Matt Kenseth, as he gets some hugs and also gets a great starting position for Sunday. Well, the celebration continues for Matt Kenseth. Gets some love from the family, and they should be very excited about this. The last time Matt Kenseth started on the pole, and the only time he went on to win. But Chris Neville is with one of his teammates.
And Denny Hamlin going to roll off 5th on Sunday. And Denny, you had to do it with 13 laps on your tire. Everybody else about half as many laps.
Yeah, it was. We kept getting our car a little bit better, and I chose to run a different line in our first session. It probably cost us an extra run. So either way, pretty happy with our car, and we're just gonna keep digging. I think we have some work to do in race trim, but overall, Dave and the guys will definitely get it figured out. But definitely proud of the effort. We kept improving every single session by position. I think we ran about the same time every time, so that's good. And look forward to this race. It's one of the best ones.
Thanks, Denny.
David Reagan qualifies 11th. Great day for Joe Gibbs Racing overall. How'd you feel about your qualifying effort? Did you get everything?
I think I got a little too much early on. I don't know if those guys are just a little bit smarter, if their cars were just a little bit better on older tires, but felt like our car was capable of qualifying in the top 2 or 3 our first couple of runs, but just lacked a little bit of overall grip. Got it a little too free the very last time. We were a little nervous we weren't going to make it to the last round. We made a second run, so a couple more laps on our tires than others. But yeah, that's a spot we can win the race from. Our Snickers Extreme Camrys had some good speed off the truck. All of my teammates are really, really good here, so I'll lean on those guys some, and it'd be great if we could be at another short track and have a good run this weekend.
All right, thanks, David.
So the Kenseth family continues to celebrate in Bristol's Victory Lane. Even better to be celebrating there at the end of the race on Sunday, and that could well happen. We'll be back to wrap things up from Bristol Sprint Cup Series qualifying when we go. Well, the field is set for the Food City 500 in support of Steve Burns, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. says, "I stand up for Steve." What a great tribute to our good friend Steve. We hope you get well very soon. There goes the sticker on the car. Is Matt having a little bit of trouble putting that on? Rachel's helping him out. Here are 3 things you need to know as the sticker goes on the number 20 Joe Gibbs Toyota. And they get a little smile and yet another picture in Vic. That's a big celebration for the pole sitter. Jimmie Johnson failed to advance beyond round number 1. That doesn't happen too often.
That's scratching his head right there.
Last time it happened, though, he won Atlanta. Joe Gibbs Racing has won 4 of the last 5 Bristol poles. All their drivers are in the top 11 starting positions.
Yeah,
the first 3 rows, yep, little congratulations for the teammate there. 3 Toyotas, 2 Fords, 1 Chevrolet. Guys, where do we go from here? 2 practice sessions tomorrow, and then a big old race Sunday.
Well, I know where Matt Kenseth, our pole sitter, would love to go. He would love to go up there on that C post and put another sticker that says race winner. 51 race winless streak for Matt Kenseth.
The question is, do I go high or do I go low? That's what you'll be working on tomorrow. Do you get your car to work around the bottom like Matt does, or do you want that thing to rim right around here for the high groove?
Lots of on-track action tomorrow. Sprint Cup Series practice comes your way at 8:30 a.m. Xfinity Series qualifying at 9:30. We're going to start early here at Bristol, so you better get up and get your coffee and join us. Sprint Cup final practice at 11:30 a.m. And then the Xfinity Series race, the coverage begins at 1 p.m. You saw Keelan Harvick on his dad's shoulders there a second ago. I'm glad he took a break from working on the race car today.
Yeah, the kid's worn out. Yeah.
But he did a pretty good job. His dad qualified 4th in that 4 car.
Got those wheels tight.
But no one qualified better than Matt Kenseth. Want to remind you once again, the hashtag on Twitter is BurnsStrong. This weekend is in honor of our good friend Steve Burns at the Food City 500 in support of Steve and Stand Up to Cancer. Want to thank everybody for coming along on the ride with us today here at Bristol. It's been a busy day, but a fun day. And we have baseball coming your way next. It's Big East College baseball, St. John's and Creighton. Right now, we send it to Eric Collins and Jason Isringhouse.